Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the hammer has dropped. The hammer has
But can it be lifted?
Can it be lifted again? Yeah, Thor Love and Thunder has franchise worst box office fall. Second weekend, it had a 68% drop off in week 2 with virtually no competition.
Yes, but it's funny to me. What the funny part to me is, because we have said this was going to happen, is that all the news outlets in lockstep are like, wow, that's the worst fall ever, but it's still great because they're still winning. Every article is like, it's terrible, but they're still winning.
Yeah, so here's the thing. A lot of outlets have been talking about the decline of the MCU. That audience scores are down, that people are not feeling the MCU, they're not feeling Phase 4.
Those bigots, hate groups, confirmed.
Those bigots. And now we're seeing the numbers. And to have a second week drop off like this when there's virtually no competition says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, some of the other ones came up against, like,
indie movies.
Or Maverick or whatever. Yeah. But these ones don't have that excuse. And they're like, people, oh, well, they usually fall off a cliff the second week of July. It's hilarious because these outlets want to get the digs in, but then they're always following us, oh, but it's all fine here. This is normal. Don't worry, it's still the MCU and they're still doing fantastic. Because they're so, I don't know if they're afraid of Disney or the audiences or what they're pissed or afraid about. Twitter, I don't know, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, but they're not being as kind as they used to be.
No, they're being meaner about it, but they're also falling up. But don't hate us because they're still doing wonderful. Here's why it's so great.
They're afraid of the Twitter stands, I think. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 272,000 subs. Woo! Thank you so much for the support. Hate to say I told you so, but I told you so last week. A lot of people saying that Thor Love and Thunder was headed for a massive drop off. They're like, it might drop off 55 to 60%. It dropped off 68%.
Yeah. You said you thought it was going to be really a lot worse than that.
The word of mouth was not good.
The reviews still aren't that great. I mean, it's still sitting at, like, I forget what Rotten Tomatoes were, but like audience scores like 79 and critical 60 something. But, you know, it's not the worst, but it's not great.
No, I saw a lot of people talking about how they were like, well, they thought they would like it because of Ragnarok, but they said it was way jokier than Ragnarok, and so much of it did not make sense, and it just seemed like a mishmash of ill-conceived humor, and it was like a parody of the MCU. This is coming from Collider. Thor Love and Thunder has franchise worst box office fall. And so that's for the MCU. And second weekend adds 46 million. Love and Thunder's on the verge of passing 500 million, like you said. Oh, but there's good news, guys. And how much did this movie cost to make?
I don't know.
Because I'm sure it's like 200 and some million dollars. So
I'm just like, I'm so glad they didn't give Taika Waititi Akira. I'm just so thankful about that. Anyway, continue.
So here we go. Love and Thunder is flirting with the franchise worst second weekend drop off after adding 46 million to the box office. The superhero sequel fell by 68% in its sophomore bow, which ranks amongst the worst falls in Marvel Cinematic Universe history.
I want to point out here, they keep going on about, but that's still such a great total. Any movie studio would be thrilled to have that. Okay, but those movies that the other studios are putting out don't cost as much, for one. Two, it's not a Marvel MCU movie. And Disney needed good news for their investor call coming up and everything else. This is not going to give them that. And it's just, you know, they're going to keep making excuses for it. But yes, compared to other movies, that might be a really great total, but not for an MCU film.
Yeah, now here we're seeing a pattern. Doctor Strange 2 fell by 67%. Black Widow dropped 68%.
Yeah, well, the Black Widow, I'll give a pass because they had it on
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. I think that had a lot to do with it. Plus, people weren't going to the movie theater then because it was really like, you know, people were still, I thought theaters weren't open even. So, I mean, I can give that one a pass. But Doctor Strange, yeah, it just went off a cliff, which we said was going to happen, and it did.
No Way Home also fell, but it had a massive opening.
But it did fall.
It did fall. But it also had legs, though. It
picked back up again, word of mouth. Yeah. See, that's what saved it. Word of mouth matters, and these people don't know that. Like, yeah, the first week on any movie, it's going to do really well because everybody's excited to see it. They're going to come run into the film. But if it's not good, people are going to tell their friends, and it's going to fall off a cliff. No Way Home did fall off a cliff the second week, and then it picked back up again, and it kicked ass because it was actually a good movie.
So this paragraph, this says everything. Well, Love and Thunder exceeded expectations in its debut weekend.
Did it though? Because I remember the expectations were a lot higher.
They were like 165,
and it didn't hit that. No. So that's not actually true.
Yeah, the film made 144 million, the second best box office opening of the year. A Friday to Friday fall of 80% was an indicator of things to come. This kind of fall cannot be blamed on a change in audience behavior in a post-pandemic world.
Yeah, Disney can't use that one anymore.
Nope. Top Gun Maverick delivered phenomenal holds, but can probably be attributed to Love and Thunder's mediocre reviews, mixed fan reception, and the knowledge that the film will be available on Disney Plus.
I think that's a lot of it too, is the Disney Plus thing. People are like, why pay for it? Why go to the theater? Theater rates have gone up. And people's money has gone down. Like, well, I'm already paying for Disney Plus. I'll just wait a month and a half and see it.
Yeah, but I mean, this is bad because, like, with Doctor Strange, I mean, at least Doctor Strange was going against Maverick. You know, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it had that excuse.
There is no excuse here. They even said that the next competitor for Marvel is Black Adam, which comes out in October. So there's really no excuse at all.
No.
Other than audiences aren't into it. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, Minions, but they're not even the same demographic. So.
No, not the same demographic. Number 2 spot was Minions, added 26 million in its third weekend, up to 261 million domestic. It's the biggest animated film since Frozen 2.
Mm-hmm. And it's grossed 532 million worldwide so far. And they're like, oh my God, Thor's headed for 500 million globally.
But
so is Minions.
So is Minions.
I mean, Grant Minions has that whole TikTok trend going along with it, but still.
So then they had Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank, which is some other animated thing, which $6 million. And this one, Where the Crawdads Sing, which that's based on a book or something, but it did 17 million. So this is what it has to compete against. Minions, which has been out for weeks. Paws of Fury.
It's been a week ahead of it.
Yeah. Paws of Fury and Where the Crawdads Sing, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't sing. I'm sorry. It's people are burnt out, tired of, bored of, disgusted by whatever the Marvel universe and lots of media.
It's too much.
It's too much. It's too much mediocre shit.
And you had a consistent pattern of what to expect for like years. And now it's all over the damn place.
Yeah, for years it was like 2 or 3 solid movies every year. And now it's like freaking 4 or 5 movies and a bunch of shitty series every year.
Well, not just that. I mean, what I'm saying is we had a direction. And each of the movies, they had some misses, obviously, like Dark World and stuff like that. But for the most part, they were really strong films, and they kind of went to a formula, and they worked really well, and people knew what to expect. Well, as of Phase 4, that's all out the window, and you're getting all kinds of shit. And it's like they're changing characters, changing everything, putting a lot of the changes in Disney Plus shows. Yeah. They're just like, then you're making things jokier and jokier and jokier, or they're going too far the other way. And it's just they're not consistent. So if you go to a Marvel film, you're not getting a Marvel film that you'd expect. And I don't think people like that.
No, they don't like it. It's I think the MCU is headed for a pretty disastrous.
Well, it's a good damn thing they had that meeting just like 2 months ago to figure out which direction they were going in.
Figure out what they're gonna. Yeah, right. They finally decided after how many movies into Phase 4 that they need to have a plan. Mm-hmm. There is no plan. This is just like the sequel trilogy. Disney's plan is basically
diversity and dinosaurs
to make more money. Yeah. The plan is to make more money, to shit out movies because the sheeple will go to anything that they put out.
They think.
And they need to put out as many movies as possible.
They need to put out fewer movies that make them quality, fewer shows that make them quality. We even had like the video you did with the Marvel or the FX teams were complaining about Star Wars and Marvel. They aren't getting it done to the level they should because they're being too rushed. And then Taika Waititi was, I guess, making jokes about how bad the stuff looked in Thor. I'm like, these people cannot keep up. And you're not hiring more because you don't make enough money with what you got.
Yeah, so I think Disney's going to have to
slow their roll
a little bit. They might be forced to. The market might force Disney to slow their roll, but they're basically betting the future of Disney Plus on Marvel and Star Wars, and both of these brands are in decline. So, and that's their own doing. Too much and poor choices. Yeah, and too much poor shit. Yeah, you strayed from formula. You're making too many, and you're changing a lot of things. Or you're having these characters no one knows. You're pushing things that the general audience doesn't want. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch and see what happens. We're gonna wrap this video up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.